We did use the goal setting tool in easyCBM, and that was really helpful to see, especially when you're in an MTSS team, pulling up a student's graph and you can see, are they closing that gap? And the school psychologist worked on developing kind of a goal chart. And we actually looked at sort of kind of growth data across the kind of the benchmarks and easyCBM, and then wanted to push our kids and say, okay, here was typical growth from this, from beginning of the year to end of the year, but we want to multiply that by 1.5 because we're actually doing more with these students and we're targeting or research-based interventions with our students. So we did kind of multiply that by 1.5 and set that as a goal. And so had a little bit stretched goals for those students receiving that intervention. But I know individual teachers also work in classrooms and set goals with their kids. And so some of them would use some of the fluency data and do fluency charts and do fluency reads with students. Some of them will do kind of like a cold read on Monday and then track that student's progress throughout the week on that same passage. And students really kind of like seeing them grow, right, through the week on those. So I think that's motivation and increasing the students' motivation there as well. But we did use, like I said, the easyCBM goal setting graphs, and teachers and students and teams really liked being able to see that real clear data. Because sometimes when you're looking at that graph and it's a 34 and then a 40 and then a 32, it doesn't look like you're moving very close to that goal. But those trend lines and that bright blue goal line did help. But I kind of like that quick graph that you can just see that quick growth too.
And it's great that easyCBM gives the overarching goals, because in the day-to-day practice within the classroom, even through our curriculum, with the EL scope and sequence, kids are making every week they go through a cycle and work on specific skills, and they have a cycle assessment. And at the end of the week, when they take that cycle assessment, they're getting immediate feedback on, this is how what you did, like in identifying where their mistakes were, getting immediate micro intervention on that, and then setting a goal for themselves for the next week and progressing through the scope and sequence with them. So that takes them through the smaller scale of it. And then when we have easyCBM, we see the bigger growth.
Mm-hmm. I did hear some feedback with teachers, especially when the students kind of took it online and liked being able to see those errors, kind of that reading record. Mm-hmm. For those students, as well as, being able to go back in and for the, not just the fluency, but then the comprehension, knowing which questions the student got incorrect and being able to, talk to them and figure out, maybe a different strategy for answering that question the next time. What we really like to see and pull up during MTSS discussions on students was that progress monitoring graph and the multiple progress monitoring graphs for that student. Because as you scroll down, you can see, okay, well, they were being progress monitored, maybe in letter sounds, as well as word reading fluency. And, maybe they're not making as much growth on that word reading fluency yet, but they're really flying on that letter sound. So let's, focus more on that word reading fluency and you can start to see that growth happening there next.